So the first kind of eyeliner application we're going to talk about is an eyeliner application with a gel or cream eyeliner. So this one is by Krylon. I used to work for Krylon, so that is why I have so much Krylon makeup, in case you have noticed that in all of these videos, and in these videos especially. But I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to use this to apply it. So in my everyday life, I usually just actually use like an eyeshadow and an angled eyeliner brush. But any day that I want something that's like a little bit more dramatic, or if I am going to wear lashes, or if I'm working on somebody else, I always love to use these gel liners because I can scoop them out. And it's going to be super sanitary that way. You want to make sure you have one that is waterproof, but you also want to make sure that you have one that lets you blend it, because if it dries like on contact, and you're somebody who loves blending, or is maybe not the best at applying eyeliner on other people, which is kind of me, it's great to have something that blends. If you're using like the felt tip liners or a lot of liquid liners, a lot of times as soon as those hit the skin, they dry right away, which is great if you need them to, but if you really want to blend it, that could give you like a little bit of trouble. So I usually work with cream liners, especially on other people, because I just think they're easier. So I'm gonna go ahead and I have my spatula, and I'm gonna scoop out enough here. And then, so when I apply it, I used to use an angled brush all the time, but now I use these very, very tiny brushes, especially I find if you're trying to do a really, really thin line. This helps a lot. I am notorious for putting on way too much eyeliner, because I really like to wear like thick eyeliner when I do wear it. So for me, I do this as a way to kind of like be careful that I don't use too much, because again, I'm someone that will definitely use way too much eyeliner. So even if I'm going to do like a wing, I always like to apply the line across first, and so when you're doing it, you can kind of see, you don't want to do it necessarily just in like one big line. It usually works out better if you do it like in smaller strokes like this, and the same goes for like a liquid liner, felt tips. A lot of times if you do it in smaller strokes, that's going to help you get like a more even application. And so if you're somebody where you have an issue with eyeliner like transferring really easily, if you're using a cream liner, and especially like again if I'm working on somebody else, I will not let them open their eyes until I know it is dry. On my own eyes, if I'm not wearing a ton of it, the way that my eyes are, I can open my eye and I'm not really worried about it transferring, just because of my eye shape. But if I'm working on somebody else, I definitely make sure that their eyeliner is closed, or that their eyes are closed until it's dry, because there's nothing worse than you finally get somebody's eyeliner applied correctly just to have it like end up somewhere else. So always it's a great idea to make sure that their eyes are totally closed, or if you're worried about it, set it with black eyeshadow. And so if you're gonna do a winged liner, I like to line it up first. So if that's where I know that I kind of like want it to end up, I can have my eye open and it's just kind of like angled out, and then close it to try to fill it in. This I usually end up doing on myself with an angled brush, so we'll see how this goes. Winged eyeliner is definitely a tricky thing. I feel like everybody kind of has like their own style of wing that they like, but in general, if you start it with your eye open, that's gonna make it a little bit easier to kind of line it up. And then what's also nice with the gel liners is that you can kind of like drag it out a little bit more easily and connect it. And so again, even when I try to not put on super thick eyeliner, it ends up really thick like this. So at this point, this is usually when I like to go back in and kind of blend everything a little bit more. So to do that, I'm gonna come in with like my usual eyeliner brush, which is like this angled one, and I'm gonna kind of like just drag this over. And that's why I do like to have these cream liners, just because I really like being able to kind of like smooth my eyeliner back out, and just kind of manipulate it a little bit more. I don't really like the felt tip ones, just because I usually do need it to blend just a little bit. And what's nice too with the cream liners is I feel like you can really get into your lash line a little bit more easily than you could if you were just working with like a liquid or the felt tip ones. But again, I think everybody kind of has like their own style. So if you really, really love like felt tip or something like that, you can definitely use those. There's nothing wrong with that. This is just usually my personal preference is either to use powder or to use like a gel like this. And then another way that I'll come in to clean it up is I'll use that same little bit of highlighter, and then you can kind of come right under it. And again, we're going to come in with our concealer. And so if you feel like for you doing that, you're just going to mess up your liner, you may want to do after like your eyeshadow and stuff is on, you may want to go in and do your concealer. So that's something that I think it just kind of depends. Sometimes I will do like eyeliner and lashes like totally last, but for this, because I am going to go back in with some of the eyeliner and darken some of it just to show you all that, I didn't want to put on concealer first, but a lot of times just so that way you don't mess up the liner, it's a good idea to do your like concealer and foundation and everything before adding your liner. So that's one way you can add your liner. Another way is just kind of with like a classic pencil, which I feel like for these stage makeup classes, that's probably what a lot of people are going to have, which is totally fine. And this could be all you have. You might not have any kind of like eyeshadow or anything. You might just have just this little bit of eyeliner, but we can kind of use it in the same way that we did the other one. I am really going to try to not do too much of it, but it is nice, especially because I am planning on doing lashes. I feel like to have some kind of a base of eyeliner, just so that way that helps the lashes kind of blend in just a little bit more. And so you don't always have to wing it out. I'm not going to worry about it as much. And so this is like a soft pencil. It's like a kind of like a gel eyeliner pencil. So that means I can come back in and blend it, which I love to do. And so I'm going to do the same thing that I did on the other eye. And you can kind of just go in and smooth it out. So you pretty much get kind of like the same effect using any kind of like a gel product. And if I wanted to, I could kind of pick up some of this and I could probably like bring it out and make a little bit of a wing, but I think we'll leave this side without it. But say like I wanted to go in and I wanted to darken this, but or I just wanted to like somehow darken my crease and like my contour color wasn't enough, what I do is I try to like take a little bit off of this. So it's my own one, so I can obviously use this directly, but if it's not, you would obviously want to either like scrape some of this off or somehow get it onto a palette. And I could go right into my crease where I want it to be darker, and I can use my eyeliner just to kind of darken this entire area. And so that's something that works with pretty much like any kind of a pencil. It might be something where you might have to like kind of scrape it onto a palette to kind of get it to move the way you want it to, but that's a good way to go in and add definition to your eyes if you don't have eyeshadow and you're just relying on like the contour and foundation and highlight that you have. You can come in with like your eyeliner, or you can come in with like your eyebrow pencil even, and just kind of take just a little bit of that, and that will help really darken all of this. I don't usually do like eyeliner on the bottom, because I feel like for me that kind of closes my eyes in a little bit too much, but I can take a little bit of this darker color and I'll usually do it like right on this edge, and that will kind of help deepen my eyes a little bit too. So this is just like another way of seeing that like you don't have to have tons and tons of makeup in order to do these kinds of looks, because a lot of times you just have like these basic makeup kits like most of us are going to be working with, and you don't, if it's just for one show, you know, you don't necessarily want to like invest in tons of makeup, but they want your eyes to pop a little bit more. You can take your eyeliner, you can kind of manipulate what you already have, so you shouldn't have to spend tons and tons of money on things if you know you're not going to be wearing it forever. So now that we're kind of at this point, I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of concealer, and then we are going to talk about lashes, and we will be complete.